Yo, what is up guys? RiceNoctowls here with my PBL Season 2 draft analysis. This is not going to be as fancy. I'm not going to have all the graphics and stuff. This is a pretty quick video. I don't have notes with me. As you can see, I'm just recording my screen, so it may be a slightly more confusing video, so I'm sorry in advance for that, but I just wanted to get a draft analysis up. This isn't upload mandatory. It's actually, I'm the commissioner of this league. I created this league a while ago, me and a few of my friends. It was originally a 24-man league, then we found out that's insane. So this season we did downsize to a 16-man league. And I just wanted to go over my draft because I really like my draft and I wanted to upload it just because why not? I'm probably going to make a good logo and I don't know, graphics for it later, maybe for videos, but for now, you're just going to be seeing my screen and you're going to love it. So, first off, when I went into this draft, I'm not very good about planning drafts, but there's two mons I wanted together, and I really wanted them, and if I didn't get them, I was going to be very sad. So the first mon of that two-mon core was Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black, do I have to explain it? It's base 170 attack. It's ridiculous. It's got great coverage, although it doesn't get Ice Punch, even though its arm is made out of ice. Whatever. It gets Earth Power, gets Dragon Claw, Z Hail. One thing about this league is that you have 3 mons that can pick that can use Z moves. So this is definitely going to be one of our Z mons. So it's really good with things like Z Hail, which can boost its speed and let it use Blizzard and stuff like that. Obviously, you run this thing with Ice Beam, Dragon Claw, Outrage. It's a great Scarfer, good speed tier to start off with, amazing bulk. It gets Roost. It's just a really solid first round pick, and it fits on a lot of teams. This thing is just hard to switch into. I've only used it in one other league, and that league didn't finish, so I'm really hoping to employ this in a way that's really threatening, but we'll see. So the other mon I wanted, and I'll tell you right now I didn't get it, and I'm really sad, because usually I can get this mon round 2, but this league, everybody wanted it, so I wanted Mega Gardevoir, because Kyurem Mega Gardevoir sounds absolutely stupid. Just wall breaking, that's ridiculous. But it did not fall to me. But what did fall to me, that's really surprising to me, is Tapu Koko. I don't get it. So, as we know, I have Tapu Koko in USL, and I've had it in a couple other leagues. I don't want to keep drafting this thing, but it keeps falling to me, and it's a perfect fast electric type. I'm not gonna not get this. So here we have Tapu Koko. Why not? It sounds fun. It does Tapu Koko things. I've gone over this in my USL draft analysis. Physical or special. Nature's Madness is great. Good coverage. Grass Knot, Brave Bird, U-Turn, and Volt Switch, which is really nice. It's really cool with Kyurem. Because we have one that can act as a physical wall breaker and one that can act more as a sweeper. Obviously, speed tier is incredible. 130 is very fast. With any weaknesses, they don't share any weaknesses, which is really nice. But they also don't have many resistances. They can actually also both be kind of pseudo bulky, which is interesting. Because they're both semi bulky. They both get roosts, so why not? Moving forward. Now that I don't have Kyurem Black Mega Gardevoir, it's well, whatever. I was actually planning on this draft being not so great, but in the end, I'm actually super thrilled with it. So this next mon I wanted, obviously 95 to 130 is quite a big speed gap. So I wanted something in the middle of that for sure. This is also a mon I've wanted to try forever because I used it in the GBA-D League. I was actually George, and I made it to semifinals, and it was ridiculous. Was it semifinals or quarterfinals? It was one of the two. I made playoffs with it, and every game it put in work. Every game. It's superior. It's obviously contrary to Leaf Storm. It's just ridiculous. If you don't have something like Unaware Clefable or something like that, once this thing starts setting up, you're basically done for. Its 75 special attack is not super strong, but Leaf Storm just has such a high base power at 130 that it doesn't need to be super strong. And then so once you start getting boost, it's impossible to switch into. And I don't know, it's a really cool mon. This is another one of my Z. Oh, so my 3 Z-mons were the first 3 Pokemon I picked, being Kyurem, Tapu Koko, and Serperior. Because out of all the rest of my mons, there's nothing else that really appealed to me. Maybe one other thing, but it's fine. Tapu Koko gives me Z Guardian of Alola, and just good Z coverage because Electrium Z is really good. And Serperior actually gives me a lot of really cool options. For example, if there's like a really bulky fire type that wants to switch into me, I can run Z Aqua Tail and blow that thing back. Then run things like Z Dragon Pulse if I need to. It's got coverage for a good sweeper like this. It's really nice to have Z moves just to blow away a potential counter that may be coming. Its speed tier is fantastic. It's outspeeds base 110s, which is so good, and I really think that solidifies my speed tiers because 95 to 113 to 130 is really not bad. So that's that. It gets things like Giga Drain. Leech Seed is a really solid option. It actually gets Pursuit. I didn't know that. It gets Taunt, which I love Taunt. Tapu Koko also gets Taunt. And that's pretty much it for this Pokemon. It's pretty one-dimensional. Also fairly bulky. Does it get Synthesis? It does get Synthesis. So I have... The first 3 Mons are Mons that you don't usually see with reliable recovery, but I'll have access to it. So looking at these first 3 Mons, obviously very offensive so far. So I'm going to want something with a little more bulk. Also, Spikes. Just general hazard stacking works really well with this team because Kyurem and Tapu Koko and Serperior all love things getting chipped down. And so I'm like, okay, so what's a good bulky spike stacker? And I wanted to use this Pokemon for a while. And additionally, I don't like having a Tapu, specifically, like Finny is fine, but a Tapu such as Tapu Koko is not a good Pokemon to fill your fairy role. And so I'm guessing you guys can guess it by now. I got Klefki. Klefki is I've actually never used this thing. I think it's going to be super exciting to use. Mainly this thing is here for stacking spikes. There we go, spike stacking. Setting up screens. And like T-waving things. That's pretty much it. But there are some good options that this thing has. It gets Prankster Calm Mind, which is really nice. The Prankster ability I love because it's just a fantastic panic button for any scary sweeper that may be trying to threaten my team. It gets things like Foul Play. Obviously, it gets dual stabs on both sides, which is really nice. It's setting up screens. I don't think I've ever brought screens to a match. And I know they're really good, but I've never brought screens. And I don't really know why. And so this thing will probably incentivize me to bring screens one week or another. It gets okay coverage. You know, it's Klefki. We now have a Steel type, which Steel types were going very fast in this draft. Like Celesteela and Skarmory and Mega Aggron all went in like the first 2 rounds. So I wanted to pick up my Steel type fairly early, and like I said, now I have 2 semi-good fairies, which that'll fill my fairy role well enough. This thing is fairly bulky. You know, it's got like just average stats all around. You don't draft it for its bulk, although it's bulky enough for sure. It's got a solid speed tier at 75. It's not terrible. It's okay. It's just pretty good. Another thing I love running on this thing is Magnet Rise. Magnet Rise is incredible because effectively, since it's Prankster boosted, you can switch in on ground type, or not switch in, but if a ground type tries to come in and revenge you, you can Magnet Rise, and then a lot of times it can't kill you, or it can't even touch you. So pretty nice. And now I was like, okay, so the first 3 Mons I had were like really offensive. But Klefki is kind of that's a disgusting pick. So I was like, let's get a little more disgusting going on. Another thing out of this is that I think like after this round, like only 2 people had not picked their megas. So I'm like, okay. I actually talked with the last person, Chabs, who had not drafted a mega. And we confirmed that we did not want the same mega. So I actually left my mega for last round. And it's I've never used it, and I'm really excited, so you guys are gonna have to see. Oh boy. So this next mon I picked is a mon I love using. It's disgusting. I hate this, but I love it so much. I hate going up against it, but having it is incredible. It provides wish support. It gives me a bulky water. My team really appreciates wish support right now because, like I said, even though my first 3 picks have reliable recovery, it's not like they're going to be packing it most weeks. So wish support, and they're all fairly bulky, which means I really appreciate the wish support. So, and this mon can pack fat wishes. It is physically insane Alomomola. So we have Klefki Alomomola, which is just disgusting. One thing about my team right now is that getting somewhat, like, one thing I don't like about a lot of teams is that they will have a weakness, which is like not that bad, but then they'll have a Tapu or like Sun. Like, let's say you're really weak to fire, and it's like, well, you're somewhat weak to fire, but then you have a Torkoal, which makes all of your opponent's fire moves boosted, and so now you're really weak to fire. So I don't really like that, so I'm definitely going to want to mitigate, not the electric weakness, because we do have three resistances actually, our first 3 picks, but we, now our main bulk, which is Klefki Alomomola, is really not wanting to switch into electric attacks, especially in electric terrain. Apparently it's my turn to draft. You can ignore that. It's another league I probably won't be uploading. Oh boy. Okay, so going on. So this is Alomomola. It gets Aqua Jet apparently. Calm Mind. Hell yeah. But you know what it does. Wish, Protect, Scald, Toxic. That's all you need. Knockoff is really nice if you're knocking off items. It gets coverage, but you're never going to run it. Actually, its attack is higher than its special attack by quite a bit, almost double. So if I wanted to run Waterfall for the damage, I'm probably never going to do that, but I could. Sorry about that. We are back. Alright, so, where was I? Alomomola. It gets Miracle, too. Okay, we get it. It's my pick. Maybe I should stop and pick, but like, whatever. It's not a fast draft. So it gets Miracle, which is really cool. Psych Up, which is actually super cool tech for Manaphy and things like that. And yeah, that's Pokemon. Wake Up Slap. If I want to counter Snorlax, hell yeah. Oh, that would actually be super cool against the Snorlax. Oh, I'm gonna steal that. It's Aqua Ring, but yeah, Wish, Protect, it's good. Moving on, the next mon, if you notice, I have like a good, really solid physical mon, but I wanted like one more wall breaker, because Tapu Koko, like, Kyurem is my physical wall breaker. Tapu Koko and Superior, they can be wall breakers, but like they're more sweepers, kinda. So I wanted, and this just Pokemon is just incredible. This is an amazing Pokemon. I cannot believe I got it round 6. Because that's what we're on round 6. It also gives me a ground type, which I feel is essential to every draft. And it just, defensively, it pairs really well with my team. I got Nidoking. So, what Nidoking offers me, obviously, ridiculously strong. This is the mon I was like, should I put Z moves on this? But the thing is, it's going to be running Life Orb, like, almost every week. It doesn't really need Z moves. Because, like, I believe, like, a Z move from, like, let's say a Thunderbolt is pretty much almost the same power as like a non-boosted Thunder or Z Thunderbolt, maybe. I don't know. It gives me Toxic Spikes, which helps out with my whole hazard stacking kind of deal that I'm going to be building. That's really nice. It also gives me Rocks, which we don't have at this point. And yeah, so that's Nidoking. Obviously, its coverage it gets is incredible. I cannot believe I got this round 2 and round 6. I'm super happy. It's Sucker Punch, obviously Toxic Spikes. It's another Taunter. So we have, I think, like 3 Taunters at this point, which is I love that. I love Taunt. It gets Roar apparently. If Nidoqueen was there, I would have taken it because I love Nidoqueen and I don't think like it's still strong enough for me, but it wasn't, which is fine. This thing can run obviously physical or special. Its attack is higher than its special attack, but like its moves aren't boosted by Life Orb for the most part, so it's not like it really matters. Special is stronger, but not by much. Head Smash would be a really cool tech for sure. That's pretty much it. Nidoking is Nidoking. Obviously, you can run things like Superpower. Like, let's say you have a special set, but you run Superpower on it for something like a Blissey or a Chansey. That's totally viable, 100%. Yeah, you're just mainly going to be running Ice Beam, or not Ice Beam, a Life Orb on this for the most part, because obviously Sheer Force negates the Life Orb recoil. And yeah, so for the next mon, I wanted a little more bulk because Klefki Alomomola just wasn't doing it for me. So I also just needed removal, and this is probably one of my most consistent removals that I draft on all of my teams. I wanted just a solid spinner because I like spinners. I like defoggers too, but I really like really good spinners. And so the Pokemon I got, I'm doing the whole showdown thing, so I'm gonna have to like creep down, Hitmontop. Yeah, I got Hitmontop. So that's that. Which Hitmontop is a great spinner. You know, solid. It can be physically defensive or specially defensive. Obviously, it gets Intimidate, so it tends to be more physically defensive, but its special defense is far from bad. and if you run it Assault Vest, it can eat up special hits for days, for sure. It gets nice coverage in Mach Punch and Bullet Punch. It gets Mach Punch, right? Yeah, it gets Mach Punch. Okay, so it can run Bullet Punch or Mach Punch. Gets Agility, apparently. That's pretty cool. Gets a nice coverage like Earthquake. Gets Fake Out, which is kind of nice. Things like Quick Attack. But the main thing is this is a nice staple on a defensive core to switch into things like strong dark types, like, I don't know, like Pangoro or something like that. Although Pangoro probably still blows me back, but it's a nice Intimidate mod, which I feel Intimidate's pretty important on drafts. He gets things like Rock Slide for like a Volcarona or like a Charizard. It gets Sucker Punch too. God, this thing has freaking priority at the wazoo. It gets High Jump Kick if I'm running. I have seen Banded Hitmontop put in work, and I'm definitely not phasing that possibility out. I think that'd be super cool. But defensive, toxic, it's just really solid spinner for sure. Next up, I'm like, I need more bulk. One thing on my team right now is that I don't have a fighting resist other than Nidoking and Tapu Koko, which is not really solid. But don't worry, I've got a pick in the future that will definitely solve that. We will see. So yeah, that is Hitmontop. Moving on, I wanted another Wish Passer, another disgusting Pokemon. A Pokemon I've wanted to try it for a while, but I always leave it towards the end. And I don't know why, but it really helped out that I got it this round, because I learned K. Kirby, the coach of the Carolina Pyroars, was going to snipe me. So, moving forward, I did get Licky. So, this fat little... Oh, look at this. Look at his tongue. It's stupid. This Pokemon's dumb. But it's ridiculously bulky. 110, 95, 95 is ridiculous. It'd obviously be physical or special, which is really, really nice. Most of the time I am going to be running most of my walls, Hitmontop, Klefki, this thing, especially defensive. Since Alomomola is just ridiculously physically defensive, it can switch into, it can switch into, like, just neutral hits. Like, even strong neutral hits, like a Banded Crocodile, I don't think it gets 2 KO by. It's really physically bulky. So, this mostly is probably going to be especially defensive, if anything, but it just gives me a really solid Wish Passer. So if I don't want to run Alomola that week, let's say he's got, like, I don't know, like Mega Electric and, like, another, like, a good grass type, and I don't want to run in that, I can run Licky. And that can be my Wish Passer for that week. It's just a really, really solid mon. Obviously, Body Slam to get Paras is really nice. Oblivious, so it can't be taunted, is really helpful. And then Cloud9, there are a couple hazard... there are a couple weathers. Weather teams that were drafted, so Cloud9 would be helpful. Although, like, it's not like I'm going to be doing much against this thing, I guess, but, like, I don't know. It's Cloud9, I guess. It gets fantastic coverage, it gets Dragon Tail, which is really cool, especially if I'm going to be hazard stacking. A Dragon Tailer is very important. Some kind of phasing. Nidoking gets Roar. Do you get Roar? Does Hitmontop get Roar? I feel like it doesn't. Oh well. Yeah, it gets Dragon Tail, which is really nice. That's another thing, another reason why I wanted a spinner. If I'm going with this whole hazard stack option, there are a couple things that are essential to hazard stack. One of them being a spinner, because obviously if you're trying to remove your own hazards, you don't want to use defog and get rid of hazards you've set up. A ghost type, which is coming. It's definitely coming, especially with the fighting weakness. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, you're going to want as much hazards as you can. Right now, all we have is Klefki with spikes, and then like Nidoking with toxic spikes and stealth rocks, but don't you worry, our next pick is going to fix that. But back to Licky. It gets a lot of coverage. Like, it's got, let's see, Explosion, which actually is really fun, because its attack and special attack are almost the same. Attack is a little higher. It's just, like, look at this coverage. It's pretty ridiculous. It gets knockoff, which is great tech, great support. It gets SD if I really wanted to run that. I think it gets Curse. Does it get Curse? It gets Curse, so I could run Curse Licky for sure. Belch. To take on a Tapu Fini or like a Tapu Bulu or something, I can run Belch. A Guava Berry, that sounds fun. Does it get like a... I don't know. We'll see with this thing. It's just a nice. It's good ghost resist, which is really nice because I don't have any kind of ghost or dark resist at the moment. And yeah, that's Pokemon. Or I have a dark resist. And it's Tapu Koko and Klefki, but ghost is what was really bothering me because, as me and Kirby have talked about, there's only one type that resists ghost and one type that's immune to it, so you're definitely going to want one of each most likely, because ghost is really spammable type. So moving on, I really wanted to go with this whole hazard stack kind of deal, And so this next Pokemon, I had seen Gypsy King use it in the ITL, and I really didn't like this Pokemon, but he used it just super well, and I'm like, well, it seems like a solid option. If Gypsy can use it, I can use it. Like, that's kind of how I draft, is like, I see Gypsy use it, and it's like, oh, so that's a good Pokemon. So, this next Pokemon is Shuckle. It gives me webs, which is super cool, especially with, everything I'm doing to prevent, like, hazards going up on my side of the field. Webs are going to be great, because they're going to be hard to keep off, or they're going to be hard to remove from their side of the field, since I'm trying to also keep up my spikes and my rocks, so things like that. Obviously, it gives me a good rocker, like a solid rocker, which I didn't have before. Nidoking is not a solid rocker. And it's a Shuckle, you know? It's base 230 defensive. It gets Power Trip, right? Yeah, Power Trick. So if I wanted to run offensive Shuckle, I can run offensive Shuckle. Run Power Trick, Trick Room. I think, yeah, maybe one of my Pokemon gets Trick Room. So obviously it's not that good, for sure. But, like, if he's trying to, like, taunt me, and I go for, like, a Power Trick boosted, I don't know, rock something, I can. But, in reality, gets, Rocks and Webs, which is the main thing. I drafted this, and it's just, you know, it's one thing. Another thing about my team is that we only have one fire resist. Granted, it's like the best fire resist in the game, Alomomola, but it's still not great. So Shuckle is just another catch-all, like Alomomola. For it can be physical or special, but like I said, I'm probably gonna be running it special defensive most of the time. It's a nice catch-all. It gets really good coverage actually. Toxic Infestation, if I want to trap things in, is really nice. Like I said, toxic in things. Just get Body Slam. It gets Body Slam, so I can paralyze things. I don't have Thunder Wave. I get Encore, which is nice because if things try and set up on me, I can Encore them into it. Get Styro Ball. So it's just, I don't know. It's something. Acid, Acupressure, whatever. So it's pretty self-explanatory. A lot of my mods are pretty self-explanatory. Except for this next one. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I've never seen this drafted, and I don't know what was going through my head when I drafted it, but I'm so happy I did. So we have two more picks, and I know what I'm getting for my last pick because it was gonna be my Mega. So this is essentially like my last pick I have to worry about. And one thing I noticed is that I have a huge ground weakness. Because my resist is superior, which I don't really want to run that as a resist most of the time. And I have weaknesses like Tapu Koko and Nidoking and Klefki, and it's just not a good time. So, I was looking through tier 5, I'm like, what do I want? I have no idea what I want. And then it hit me. I got Torterra. Let me scroll down to see this real quick. I got Torterra. Oh boy, okay. I was like, it's a Torterra, I've never seen that used. It must be bad. No, this thing is good. Okay, so let's go over my names. I'll go over my names after this. I'll have to pull it up on the doc, but Torterra, first off, it's really strong. It's like 109 base attack plus Wood Hammer. That's really, really strong. It's hard to switch in. It can OHKO like ground types and things it needs to switch into. This is its main thing support, is that it is going to be more of a bulky thing, but it can definitely be offensive. Like a max attack Adamant Earthquake is hard to switch into. Actually, like, not as slow as I thought it was. I thought it'd be like base 30 or something, but it's base 56, so not bad. It can definitely outspeed some walls. Really, really bulky. 95, 105, 85 is great bulk. Obviously, it does have the ice weakness, but we do have things like Klefki and Alomomola to mitigate that. I think, no, Shuckle doesn't resist ice. But yeah, it gets, oh boy, it gets good coverage, like Crunch, obviously Earthquake, Outrage, obviously rock coverage, superpower. Wood Hammer and Earthquake are gonna be like my main two things. Also gives me another rocker, which is really nice because if I don't want to bring Shuckle, which I probably won't want to bring Shuckle a lot of the time, this is a really solid rocker for sure. And it gives me another Roar Pokemon, which is great for my hazards. It's just, I don't understand why this thing isn't drafted more. After looking at it, it's super good. And I really want this thing to put in work. It also gets Synthesis. It gets Reliable Recovery. It's like the perfect Pokemon. It gets Double Dance. It gets Swords Dance and Rock Polish. Like, I want this thing to put in work. Oh boy. So we have the two dual grass starters, which is absolutely OP for sure. In Torterra and Superior. I'm thrilled about this Pokemon. I am so excited to use this. I keep doing that. I think it's gonna be so much fun. I'm really excited. Get things like Rock Tomb. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna regret this Pokemon, but right now I'm really not. I'm really happy with it. I keep doing that. Jesus Christ. So last Pokemon, I did tell you guys it was gonna be my Mega. So let's talk about what we need. Obviously, we need a fighting immunity because our team is still very weak to fighting because we haven't drafted an immunity or a resist yet. Now this is a mon that, oh boy. Let me just show it to you guys. Like, my team is fairly offensive, but it's pretty, yeah, I'd say it's a balanced team. At this point, I got Mega Sableye. I've never used Mega Sableye, and I really was wondering about the core of Klefki plus Mega Sableye, because that's like the hazard stack core, like holy crap. So the whole point is that they can't set up hazards against me, but I can set up hazards against them. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah. And it gives me, like, Klefki, Alomomola, Mega Sableye, like, Hitmontop, Licky, Shuckle. That sounds like some really crappy, like, RU stall. But it's stall nonetheless. I don't know. It gives me kind of a semi-stall option. But, like, Mega Sableye it doesn't have to be on stall, like, for sure. It's a really solid Pokemon. I think Klefki plus Mega Sableye is a really cool core, because obviously, Mega Sableye can eat a lot of hits. Klefki doesn't like, but Klefki can take on the fairy hits. Mega Sableye doesn't like. It's nice, it's pretty offensive. It's got nice offenses to 85 and can boost its, special attack with Calm Mind, which I think Calm Mind's a very solid option. But it gets a nice, I've run physical Mega Sableye, like, for sure. I've ran that before. And like OU. That's because I'm bad. But it gets nice physical coverage for sure. Gets Fake Out, obviously. Gets Knockoff. Magic Coat, like, that's what Magic Bounce is for. Nasty Fly, it gets, I don't know, it's just a really cool Pokemon. Yeah, Sucker Punch, nice, nice priority for sure. I guess Shadow Sneak. I'm really excited to use this, and I think, so just looking at the team in general, I'm really happy with it. Kyurem, Tapu Koko, Superior, Klefki, Alomomola, Nidoking, Hitmontop, Licky, Shuckle, Torterra, and Mega Sableye. I was like, when I was first starting it, I was like, this is gonna be a bad team. But it's got really great coverage. It's webs plus hazard stack plus some of the scariest wall breakers in the game. And Kyurem, Black, Nidoking, Superior, Tapu Koko. And it's just a great defensive core to pair with it. Like Alomomola, Klefki, Torterra, Shuckle, like Hitmontop, Licky. This is like, I want to bring all of these mons. All of these mons are like I'm super happy with. So okay, that's the draft analysis. I don't know. I'm really excited. I did play my week 1 already. I'll probably post it later, maybe. There you go, Kirby. You can stop bothering me and make the analysis. I did it. All right. See you guys. Peace.